I paint a lot in red. It's very eye-catching and it's like the color of blood and life. Some people call it a little bit aggressive looking, and it could be dangerous. It could be, it's a sexy color. I'm Kwonny. I'm based in Seattle and I work in acrylic paint and digital. I started my art journey in Australia during the pandemic. Kind of happened as a fluke. My partner and I went there just to see his parents, and then the day after we landed, the borders closed, and I ended up living there for a year and a half during everything. And his mom is actually an amazing artist, so she really inspired me to start making things again. Like, we'd have little coffees and just like draw on the table. I didn't make any art before that. I did take an art class in high school, a few favorite pieces here and there, but it wasn't something that I thought I could make it like a career for myself. And credit all of that to my partner, who's really into art, and his mom, so that's where it all started. I work digitally and traditionally, and they look quite different. My digital work, it's my original work. It's quite colorful now. It's evolved to be like multiple characters, like maybe figurative, but quite abstract as well at the same time. I try not to limit myself with like size because I'm limiting myself with colors right now, and I really just want to explore like red as much as I can before I move into other colors. It's very eye-catching and it's like the color of blood and life. Some people call it a little bit aggressive looking, and it could be dangerous. It could be, it's a sexy color. And there's just like so much meaning behind it. I think that a lot of cultures put a lot of emphasis on red, even if it's maybe not like the biggest thing. I'm sure I'll start evolving more to incorporate different colors and things like that. But right now, if I were to tell somebody about my work, it'd just be, I paint a lot of animals, I paint a lot of red, and that's kind of how I work too. Growing up Korean American and also having the opportunity to live in a lot of different places, including like multiple cities in the US, but also Switzerland, and then currently going back and forth between here and Australia, it's exposed me to a lot of different cultures and narratives and stories, histories. That obviously has a huge impact on my work. Late 2023, I started painting a lot of dogs and wolves and these like bright magenta and red colors, and I think it was the first time I started really using this technique that I had been developing without realizing that I was. All of them had like a little bit of writing either on their chest or across their sides, and those writings were inspired by poems that I'd read while in the studio. And it was a discovery of a new technique then, and it was also having those words like together kind of help me understand more like what I wanted to paint. Typical day in my studio, I'll have a coffee with me for sure, come in pretty early, and I like to lay down a big canvas. I work usually barefoot, so I have my paintings on the ground, I've got some music going, or like a novel, that I can listen to. But yeah, it kind of depends, like if I've had a good night's sleep or not, but I'll try to come in regardless and like just get it. It's kind of like easiest when you know what you have to do and you get into the motions, and then you'll kind of work through it. So yeah, I would say I have a good routine. Sometimes like you don't want to create things that don't speak to you, and then you also don't want to just create for yourself for pieces that don't resonate with people if it's something that you want to make into a sustainable career. And for me, luckily, I think that a lot of what I make now is resonating with people and people like it, and I'm definitely guided by like the feedback that I get, but at the same time it's something that if I have a strong opinion about something, I won't let that impact what I'm making. I also like to think I've got one shot to do something, and because of the way that I make my work, it's actually, I don't have another chance to go back and fix it. Once the paint dries, I actually don't go over it. So it is a one-shot philosophy. Also, I put a lot of emphasis in my practice to try to increase flow. And I think going back and trying to perfect something, for me, that's not flow. For other people, it could be. But for me, it's like making the piece, being done with it, letting it go, and then moving on to the next one. Being an artist to me is about communication, and for me, I'm doing it visually. I'm painting something, somebody's looking at it, and they're feeling something or thinking something and wondering what's going on in my head, and that feels very luxurious to me, to be able to do that as a career. I also believe that everybody, in a sense, is also an artist. Most people live their life very purposefully and creatively, and the way that they curate their own experiences and the things around them shows to me that they're living artistically. And that cements to me really that being an artist is about sharing, it's about communication.